Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into a workplace hazard that can sneak up on just about anyone: thermal stress. It doesn't matter if you're baking in the summer sun or feeling the bite of a refrigerated warehouse, your body is in a constant battle to keep things stable. We're going to break down exactly what happens when that fight gets pushed to its absolute limit. And really, this is the question at the heart of it all, isn't it? Knowing the answer can be the difference between just having a tough day at work and facing a full-blown medical crisis. So let's figure out exactly where that line is. To really understand the danger, we first have to appreciate the incredible system our body has to keep itself stable. It's this constant, really delicate balancing act that's happening inside you, right this second. And this system has a name. It's called thermoregulation. The easiest way to think about it is like your body's own internal thermostat. It's always making these tiny adjustments, making you sweat to cool down or shiver to warm up, all to keep your core temperature locked in right around 37 degrees Celsius or 98.6 Fahrenheit. But when you're suddenly exposed to extreme heat or cold, that beautifully tuned system gets slammed into overdrive. It has to work way, way harder just to maintain that balance. And that means it's pulling energy and resources away from other really important functions. And when that system is strained, the consequences go way beyond just feeling uncomfortable. Your thinking gets foggy, your reaction time slows right down, and suddenly your risk of having an accident skyrockets. And over time, this constant strain can lead to some really serious long-term health problems. So this pressure on our internal thermostat, it really comes from two opposite directions. You've got heat and you've got cold. Let's look at the two sides of this coin because they're a bit different. For heat stress, it's not just about how hot the air is. Humidity is a massive factor because it stops sweat from evaporating, and that's our main way of cooling off. Now you add in heavy work gear or intense physical labor, and you've got a perfect recipe for overheating. On the flip side, with cold stress, it's all about how fast your body loses heat. That process gets sped up like crazy by wind, getting wet, and just not having the right insulated clothing. Now, while both are super dangerous, the way heat illnesses progresses can be incredibly fast, so let's zoom in on that. It's so important to understand this. Heat-related illnesses are not an on or off switch. It's not like you're okay one minute and not okay the next. They exist on a spectrum. The best way to think about it is like a three-step ladder of increasing danger. It starts with heat cramps. That's your body's first warning signal. If you ignore that, you can climb to the next rung, heat exhaustion, which is a really serious escalation. And that final step, that's heat stroke, a true medical emergency where the body's core systems are actually starting to shut down. So let's start at the bottom of that ladder. Heat cramps. We're talking about those painful, totally involuntary muscle spasms you might get in your legs or your abdomen. This is your body's first alarm bell, and it's telling you you're losing way too much salt and fluid through sweat. The message couldn't be clearer. Stop what you're doing, get somewhere cool, and rehydrate. Okay, so if you ignore that first warning bell, you climb to the next step: heat exhaustion. At this point, the body is seriously depleted of water and salt. Your internal thermostat is still trying to fight, but man, it is losing the battle. This is a much, much more serious condition. And here's how to tell the difference between exhaustion and stroke, and this is absolutely crucial. With heat exhaustion, the person is usually still sweating a ton, so their skin might feel cool and clammy. But with heat stroke, the body's entire cooling system has started to fail. The sweating might even stop, and their skin can become dangerously hot and dry. The other key giveaway is their mental state. Look for confusion or even loss of consciousness. Recognizing these signs right away can literally save a life. Okay, so we understand the danger to us as individuals. Now let's zoom out and see how the work environment itself can either protect us or put us in far, far greater danger. These are what you might call the hidden dangers. A workplace with terrible ventilation near machines that crank out heat, a site that doesn't enforce proper rest breaks when the temperature spikes, or a place that just fails to provide easy access to water. But the exact same thing is true for the cold. Insufficient warming stations or no shelter from the wind can easily lead to frostbite or hypothermia. And in either extreme, a team that isn't trained to spot the warning signs in each other is just a team that's unprepared for a preventable tragedy. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. These factors can transform thermal exposure from a manageable condition into a significant occupational hazard. What that really means is that an extreme temperature doesn't have to be dangerous. It becomes dangerous because of poor planning, bad design, and a simple lack of awareness. These risks are almost always preventable. Okay, so this is the most important part.
What do you do when you see the danger signs in a coworker? Your actions in those first few minutes can make all the difference in the world. If you suspect heat exhaustion, your mission is immediate cooling and rehydration. Get them out of the heat right away. Loosen or take off any heavy clothing, use cool, wet cloths or a fan to cool their skin, and have them sip cool water. The key here is to watch them very closely. If they don't start improving pretty quickly, it's time to get medical help.
But for heat stroke, the response has to be completely different. This is a life-threatening emergency. The absolute first thing you do is call for professional medical help immediately. This is not a wait-and-see situation. While you're waiting for help to arrive, your single most important job is to cool that person's body down as fast as you possibly can. Use whatever you've got. Cool water, ice packs on the neck, armpits, and groin, and you just keep going until help arrives and takes over. And all of that brings us to our final and most crucial question. This isn't just about you knowing the signs. It's about looking at your own workplace, your procedures, and your team. Is the plan already in place before the next heat wave or cold snap hits? Because being prepared is truly the only way to make sure that a dangerous day doesn't become a deadly one.